My cousin tried to steal my father's entire legacy. My mom called me sobbing so hard I could barely understand her. The restaurant is gone, she choked out. Then my cousin Anthony grabbed the phone and said we owed the bank $340,000. I nearly dropped it. What are you talking about? The restaurant's been paid off for a decade. He showed my mom the papers. 3 massive loans, supposedly taken out by my dad before he died 8 months ago. But my dad built that place from nothing. 40 years of 16-hour days, grease burns, double shifts, every dime poured back into the business. The man pinched pennies so hard they screamed. There was no universe where he secretly borrowed hundreds of thousands. And besides, he'd had Parkinson's for 3 years. He couldn't even sign birthday cards. Mom, don't sign anything. I'm flying home tonight. I landed in Chicago at 6 a.m. and went straight to the restaurant. Anthony was already in my father's office, lounging in the leather chair like some discount mob boss. Felix, I'm so sorry, he said, standing to hug me. I had no idea Uncle Raoul was in this much debt. I asked to see the loan documents. He hesitated, just for half a second, but passed me a folder. 3 loans, all taken in the last 2 years of my dad's life, all with signatures that were miraculously smooth, steady, and absolutely nothing like the shaky handwriting Dad had at the end. But I didn't react. I just nodded, played along, and told Anthony I needed time to process. I wasn't processing. I was hunting. Over the next week, I acted devastated while working behind the scenes. I asked the bank for the original loan files. When they arrived, I compared the signatures, the curve, the loops, the exact pressure marks. They matched Dad's handwriting from 15 years ago, not his condition in the last 3. Someone had taken his old signature and traced it onto new documents. Then I pulled the restaurant's financials. Anthony had been our bookkeeper. Dad trusted him with everything. I found $47,000 in vendor payments to a company called AM Solutions LLC. A quick business lookup told me everything. AM Solutions was registered to Anthony Michael Torres. He'd been bleeding the restaurant dry, little by little, and now he was trying to finish the job with forged loans that would force my mother to sell. I hired a forensic accountant, Dr. Chen. She confirmed everything. Copied signatures, fraudulent loans, fake power of attorney. Enough evidence to bury him for a decade. But I wanted more. I wanted him to feel what he'd made my family feel. I told my mom I'd found a buyer for the restaurant, a businessman willing to pay off the debts and keep the place running. She cried with relief. I told Anthony he needed to meet the buyer Saturday morning to finalize the transfer. He showed up in his best suit, smiling like a snake who'd just swallowed a canary. He thought he was about to get a payout on the business he'd been quietly destroying. The conference room was full when he walked in. My mom, my 2 uncles, Aunt Rosa, his mother, and 3 people he didn't recognize. Who are they? He asked. I kept my voice calm. This is Detective Morrison. This is Agent Fields from the FBI Financial Crimes Unit. And this is Dr. Chen, our forensic accountant. Anthony's smile fell apart. Felix, what is this? I slid a thick folder across the table. These are the original loan documents you forged using Dad's old signature. These are the records showing you filed them under a falsified power of attorney. And these are 3 years of payments to your shell company. Aunt Rosa gasped, covering her mouth. Anthony, tell me this isn't true. This is ridiculous, he snapped, but his voice cracked. I was trying to help the family. Uncle Raoul asked me to. My father couldn't write his own name at the end, I said. Everyone here knows that. Dr. Chen opened her binder. The signatures match a 2009 tax return exactly. The stroke patterns are identical. Statistically impossible unless one is a copy. Anthony looked around the room. Nobody met his eyes, not even his mother. She was sobbing silently. You tried to steal everything my father built, I said. You told my mother she was losing her home. For what? A couple $100,000? He lunged across the table, but Detective Morrison had him cuffed by the time he got halfway. Anthony Torres, you're under arrest for fraud, forgery, and elder financial abuse. They dragged him toward the door. He twisted in their grip, shouting about lawyers and family loyalty and how I'd regret this. He passed his crying mother without even looking at her. At the doorway, he turned back. His eyes burned with pure hatred. I held his stare until the door closed. Dad would have loved that.